seems like our society programs us to think that women do not cheat. It's men that cheat. Men are the dogs. Men are the pigs. You can't trust a man. He will always cheat on you. We hear this in talk shows, TV shows, movies. Like I said, we're programmed to think that way. Also, we're programmed to think that men are the aggressor, the abuser. It's only men that commit violence. But yet, I know throughout my life, I've seen women be just as violent and just as aggressive as any man. But I'll make a separate video about that. But
I agree.
With women, I believe that women cheat just as much as men. This is from my personal experience, from what I've seen throughout my life. You know, I've seen a lot of guys cheat, but I've seen so many more women cheat. And being a woman myself, I get to be an insider to the things that women talk about. And yes, they will admit to one another that they cheat, but you will never hear an ounce of remorse. They always victimize themselves. What they'll say is, instead of saying, you know what, I cheated, it was wrong, it was dishonest of me, it was betrayal, and I'll never do it again, what you will hear is, well, I cheated because I had to. He wasn't giving me what I needed and what I deserved as a woman. And all the other women will, you know, jump right in and, you know, be victims and victimize her, saying, oh, you poor thing. He should have treated you better. You take care of his kids and you do this and you do that. And he should have appreciated you more and you wouldn't have had to go screw another man.
Crazy.
But it's really quite scary how they do that. But
she's absolutely right. Every time I see a movie or a billboard, it's always the man that's being the cheater or the abuser. And if it is the woman that's cheating or abusing, there's always some sympathetic twist to justify her actions. We need more equal representation. Why don't we see any female abusers? And that's one of the reasons why channels like mine have grown so fast. Women have so many resources that tell them which men to avoid, how to avoid those men. So much so to the point where women think that all men are bad at this point. Men don't have any of those resources. Men are told that women are innocent, women can do no harm, and then 12 years later you find out that the kid you've been raising isn't yours. And the craziest part is when women demonstrate aggression through manipulating men, there's never any punishment for it. A woman can literally make a man raise a child that isn't his for 12 years and she isn't going to be punished. A woman can literally steal a man's sperm and it isn't even illegal.
You know, back in the day when women did this kind of stuff, they were shunned. They were the talk of the town. None of the other women wanted to be friends with them. But nowadays, we either don't admit that women do these type of things, or when it is admitted, they don't get any consequences for it. It's totally okay for women to cheat. It's totally acceptable for them to have multiple partners and have children from multiple men. Like, we're completely okay with that as a society. It's almost unnatural and weird to see a woman that doesn't do this kind of stuff. Women like that are now shunned and looked at as weird and stupid and lame and boring. I don't enjoy making videos about this stuff, believe it or not. A lot of women will contact me that are very liberal, progressive, and get very angry at me and call me a woman hater, but I am one, right? And I'm a sexist and all of this, but yet I'm only telling the truth. Instead of them addressing these bad behaviors, they rather attack someone for exposing it. It's completely ridiculous. Exactly. It is not fair to portray men as cheaters when women do it too. And women do it just as much as guys do. One of the main reasons is they feel like they're not getting that attention from their man that they were getting in the beginning. Women are very selfish and very immature. You're not going to get the same lovey-dovey type attention, you know, when 5-10 years go by with your man. But if he's coming home to you every night and you have his last name and he's with you all the time, that he loves you, he's committed. But that's not enough. Women, like I said, they're very selfish, they're very immature. They'll go cry to another man, oh, he doesn't compliment me anymore, he doesn't give me any attention. And of course he'll start complimenting her, and the next thing you know, wham bam thank you ma'am.
For those who don't know, before I played professional rugby, I ran Division I track, and when you're a Division I track athlete, you see things in college that make you change your perspective on human nature. During those years in college, just like she said, I've seen more women hit men. Now, it was never reported as domestic violence because who cares, but I've seen more women hit men, and I've also seen more women cheat on men than I have seen men cheat on women. Female promiscuity has always been shunned for every culture across across the globe into the last 40 years for a multitude of reasons, and none of them include men just wanting to police women's bodies. One was because it was dangerous. STDs were rampant. Syphilis was literally a virus that mutated to attack women and children and killed millions of people all across the globe until we had access in like 1941 to penicillin. The second one was paternity. If you've been sleeping with 3 or 4 different dudes, we don't know who the father of this child is, so nobody's gonna take care of it. And since you can't go work because all of the jobs are hardcore manual labor, you're left for prostitution. Even to this day, with all the data collected from all of the paternity test labs all over the US, 1 in 3 tests come back negative, meaning 1 in 3 of the fathers that went and got that paternity test found out that that child wasn't actually theirs. Now take that with a huge grain of salt, because those were probably men that had a reason to question paternity in the first place, but nonetheless, that's a scary stat. In Jamaica, it's 70%.
I remember when my husband and I were, rebuilding our lives after Katrina up north. We were renting an apartment. We just had our daughter, so we had a baby monitor in our room. And they had a girl upstairs that was married with a newborn baby as well. And her husband would bust his ass. He was such a nice guy. He would bust his ass working for them to get their first house. They were saving up to get a new house. One night he was at work and my baby monitor picked up a phone conversation she was having with a lover. And she was telling this lover, my husband doesn't give me enough attention anymore. He doesn't compliment me. He doesn't tell me I'm pretty. And he was like, oh, you poor thing, you're so beautiful, and I'll tell you that every day if you come live with me, and this and that. And she was totally biting the bait. It was ridiculous. But, I was just thinking how selfish of her, how immature of her. Your husband's out busting his ass so y'all could get a house, and you can be home with y'all baby, and you're crying to another man because he doesn't tell you you're pretty every day. You're a fucking baby. There's another reason why women cheat. Let me think. Okay. So then you have these really superficial type females that are like the gold diggers, very attractive, spend a lot of money on themselves. They seek out older men that are pushovers, that have financial stability, and these are typically really good, nice guys. They will marry that guy and get their financial support and emotional support from him, and then cheat on him with the bad boy. The bad boy will typically be jobless. So she can't leave her husband for the bad boy because the bad boy cannot support her and cannot give her that emotional support. So she'll, stay with the hubby for emotional support and financial support and stability and run to the bad boy for sex. I mean, that's just what they do. So that's the 2 main reasons that I see. And y'all, I've seen women in my husband and I's own family, in my co-workers. I've seen women that are very respectable to the outside, church going, seem to have it all together. You would never think they would do such a thing, but I've seen it. And when women cheat, they don't just cheat for physical reasons. They get emotionally involved. And to me, that is the ultimate betrayal. Women definitely cheat. They cheat a lot. They cheat just as much as men. Unfortunately, in our society, with feminism being so big and organized, it's a crime to put women in an unflattering light. But the thing is, I get all these messages from feminists all the time attacking me, but the thing is, women are putting themselves in the unflattering light. I'm only talking about what they're doing. So why not attack them for what they're doing? Why attack me for talking about it?
I have a friend, and when I say a friend, I mean I've known him since 5th grade. And when we were 15, literally sophomores in high school, he got his girlfriend pregnant, and because she was going through some issues with her family, she decided to move in with him and his mom. So at 15 years old, this dude was waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning, going to school at 9, getting out of school at 9:30, going to work from 4 o'clock to 9 p.m. every single day, then riding his bike home in Minnesota, only to do homework and do it all over again. Not to mention, she became abusive, and this wasn't two-way abuse. I know this guy. He wouldn't hit a woman, and if he did hit a woman, you'd know. After she had his baby, he was still doing the same routine, obviously because baby needs some shoes, right? So he was still doing the same routine, but it's just crazy because you could see how tired he was. The life was literally draining from his eyes. The guy had nothing left in the tank. Turns out the baby wasn't even his. While him and his girlfriend were going to 2 separate schools, she was cheating on him, and there were rumors going around for for a couple months before he actually decided to get the paternity test. But we're 15-year-old boys. We didn't know women were capable of this kind of stuff. So yeah, he dodged a bullet, but when you hold a newborn baby that you think is yours, there's a paternal instinct that turns on that's hard to switch off. And guess what her punishment is for abusing him and taking some of the best years of his life from him? Either way, she's on whatever number kid now, and my friend is making more money than ever before, and he has an amazing wife. So I guess the moral of the story is there are bad women out there. Men need to be told about those bad women because they're not told enough. But there are also plenty of good women out there, and you gotta trust somebody, so make sure you judge people based on their actions and their character. Till next time.
If it's an issue, we gon' solve them. I got 99 problems I can go through by myself. You know